it continues to grow today. Again, in Portugal, they experienced a 52% decrease in overdose deaths in that segment of time, past 10 years. They're getting good results. Another thing we would experience is significant reduction in corruption, police, public officials. This is running rampant with no end in sight, folks. No end in sight. That's another talk I can have with you. We can refocus police priorities to serious crimes against each other. In 1963, we saw 9 out of 10 murders in this country. Today, we are distracted. We only solve 6 out of 10 murders. And it's the same rates for rape and arson, and similar rates for other violent crimes. Improve police relations. That's important to me. How many young people do you know, who really like the police? I know 1 or 2. But when I was growing up, all the kids in my neighborhood enjoyed fellowship with the police. Not today. We would defund criminal enterprise. $500 billion globally to thugs, untaxed. If you support drug prohibition, you support organized crime and all the violence that they are responsible for. You are stuffing their pockets with cash. There's another way, folks. Joy mentioned this. You would save our economy over $1 trillion that we've spent over the past 4 decades. Here's something that's really important, and I'll end with this. You would restrict access to kids. You would restrict access to drugs to kids. Household surveys have reported that kids say it's easier for them to purchase marijuana than beer and cigarettes. We all know that. If the young person doesn't know directly where to get any type of illegal drug, all he has to do is pull this out. Text message, we'll know in a couple of seconds. And they'll deliver it to you. They'll deliver it to you. It's all about the money. There's much, much more. If you are serious about your community, your neighborhoods, and your children, I strongly suggest that you become a student of this extremely important topic. If I went from there to here, I know you can, but you have to learn about this topic, and you will over the next couple of days. Then you must get involved. You must get involved. The failures of our drug policies, the war on drugs, causes more harm than any other single topic in this country, and probably around the world. It is tied pretty much to everything and everyone. Cassandra mentioned her call to action from the DPA conference this past fall. Ethan, thank you for that conference. It's changed a lot of minds. This is your call to action. Don't miss it. What I feel first is like we've been pushing this boulder up the mountain, literally, but we're close to the summit. We're close to the tipping point. And when we get to that place, it's just the momentum will take it the rest of the way. And I think that this is a significant year with the presidential election and many of the initiatives that we have around the country. And I know this is, because it was for me, and Joy mentioned it, it's a monumental thing to get your head around after 40 years of being told one thing. But I'm seeing massive education through these conferences and through the individual talks that we have around the country and around the world. We was an international organization. We have branches around the world. And this is what I'm saying. I'm seeing people get involved. One significant thing that I have seen, and this is extremely important. When I started speaking out, even though I was with Leap for many years, I started speaking in 2008. And when I first started traveling around speaking, if you look at the audience today, you see many faces of color. When I first started speaking, I went to events and I wouldn't see blacks or Latinos in the seats. And I was wondering why, because that's the population that is most significantly affected in a negative way. But because of the work that's being done by the many organizations, you mentioned the Drug Policy Alliance, and they support so many organizations around the country. And from doing that, all of these organizations have been given birth in local communities in Dallas, in Chicago, in Baltimore, in LA. And now this is what I see when I come to events. I see faces of color. I see people, the cultures that are just devastated by this, the prison industrial complex. And now that that is occurring, now that blacks and Latinos are going to be speaking out in numbers, joining the ranks of everyone else who is in this fight, we're going to see significant change over the next few years. And obviously, it's going to begin with a change in marijuana policies. And Washington State, Colorado, hopefully Oregon, and California will be launching initiatives this year to legalize, regulate, and control marijuana, which is our criminal gangs and organizations make more money off of marijuana than any other illicit drug. So that's it. I see good things, very good things on the horizon. My predecessors in League, when I came aboard, said, well, you know what you're doing was you're not going to see any significant change in your lifetime. And you have to understand that as you get in this fight, so you're not discouraged. We're going to see change.
Thank you, Cassandra. Just want to say that if you look in and Reverend Stovall is here. Can we have a hand for Reverend Stovall, please? You may not know him, but Charles Stovall is a preacher with St. Louis Community United Methodist Church, but he has the heart of an activist. And if you look in your at his bio, you will see the incredible credentials that he has. He's just a community person. You see him everywhere. But I came up because I wanted to call your attention to, if you look in your program, there's a card. It says, My 2012 Commitment. And I want to call your attention to this card because this conference, and we're expecting many more people that are here so far today. But it doesn't matter how many people come through the doors. This conference is going to be a failure if the information that you receive here does not compel you to act, doesn't compel you on an individual level to do something for change. And so that's what this card is about. I want everyone to complete this card. If you're not already a part of Mothers Against Teen Violence, if you're not already involved, you don't come to our discussion groups, you've never given a house party, okay, you're not a part of our online network, Project Rethink. If you're in that category, I want you to make a commitment to us. And once you complete this card, there is a place to deposit it at the end of the aisle just before you leave the hall. And it has a logo just like this on either side. Complete the card and drop it in that receptacle so that we have your information. Okay, so we're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then we're going to try to get back on track with our sessions. Thank you.
And I work as a medical librarian, and also, but my main profession for the past 30 years has been as a community organizer. It's great, really helps your career path. Some community organizers go on to become the president of the United States. Some of us find ourselves in a cubicle at UTSW Medical Center, but anyway, it's still a great way to live your life. I told our distinguished panel that I'm going to cut their introductions short because of our time. We're going to go ahead and end on time, which will be at 11:45, so that's a 45-minute session. And we'll give each member of the panel 10 minutes, and then at the end that'll give us time for some Q&A and interaction. So hold your comments and questions for whomever, just make a quick note of it. We're going to start with, at the far end here, with Tessa Novick. She's a third-year medical student at UT Southwestern and has worked on a harm reduction initiative involving cleaning needles. Our second panelist here, and I'm going to let them elaborate a little more on their background and stuff, and you'll get their expertise as they speak, is Alan Frimpong, who is the capacity building advisor at the Harm Reduction Coalition. And then finally, Noelle Davis, she's a senior consultant with Capital City Solutions. And without further ado, we're just going to ask Tessa if she will start. Thank you. You can come up here, or you can just move that microphone, whichever you want.
Can you hear me? Yes. So, as John said, my name is Tessa Novick. I'm very excited to be here. I am a medical student at the University of Texas Southwestern here in Dallas. Before I went to medical school, I went to social work school at NYU and came down here, and during about a year and a half ago, I helped start something called the Harm Reduction Initiative, which is a volunteer program for medical students that consists of two main components. We train medical students and we teach them about issues associated with IV drug use, and we teach them about harm reduction. And then we send these medical students out into the community to a local homeless shelter where they talk to folks there about the dangers associated with IV drug use. They talk to folks about how to prevent infections associated with IV drug use, and then they teach people how to disinfect a syringe in a way that will prevent disease transmission. And we hand out something called what we call a disease prevention kit. If you aren't familiar with